The Fear Machine. How right-wing propaganda engineered MAGA. To the MAGA base, corporate elites, MAGA stream media, American farmers, and every entity that cashed in on Trump's rise. Stop. Breathe. Now ask yourself this. When the walls close in and the empire crumbles, when loyalty is repaid with silence, when the last truth is choked out by the machine you built, who will save you? Will it be Trump? Will it be the billionaires siphoning your labor? Will it be the media you trusted to fuel your rage? Will it be the party that once claimed to speak for you? Or will it be too late? Because in the end, it won't be the people he hated that come for you. It will be the ones who followed him blindly. The question isn't if Trump will burn it all down. The question is, how much of yourself are you willing to throw into the fire? Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that everything you thought was true had been a carefully crafted lie. That the freedom you were promised was nothing more than a leash, and the American dream was just an illusion designed to keep you complacent. For over 70 years, an invisible war has been waged, not against foreign enemies, but against the American people themselves. A war built on fear, division, and control. A war so deeply ingrained that most never even saw it happening. This was no accident. This was by design. Right-wing elites, corporate overlords, and political demagogues engineered a system where the people fought amongst themselves, while the rich and powerful tightened their grip on both MAGA and liberals alike. They fed Americans a steady diet of propaganda, convincing them their neighbors were their enemies, their struggles were caused by the poor and weak rather than the wealthy and powerful, and that questioning authority only when they are in power was the real crime. They built an empire of deception, one that brings the country to the brink of authoritarianism, while MAGA willingly hands their hard-earned money over to the rich and powerful who actually have the power to change their lives, but instead are told that poor immigrants with neither wealth nor power is the real threat to MAGA's prosperity. The blueprint of fascist takeover. Then and now, Trump and the modern GOP have taken the historical blueprints of authoritarian regimes and supercharged them with the power of billionaires and social media. The Nazi Party used propaganda to manufacture an enemy and unify their base under a cult of personality. MAGA does the same, branding political opposition as traitors and vermin. Stalin crushed dissent by silencing journalists and political opponents. Trump calls for the execution of those who oppose him. Mussolini dismantled independent institutions to create a government that only served his movement. Trump loyalists now fill the courts, Congress, and law enforcement. This is not an exaggeration. It's happening in real time. The January 6th insurrection was America's version of the Reichstag fire, an attack on democracy framed as patriotism. Books are being banned, schools are being forced to rewrite history. Trump has openly declared that he wants the DOJ to prosecute his political enemies, while pardoning criminals who swore loyalty to him. When a leader demands total obedience, criminalizes dissent, and claims only he can fix the country, history tells us what happens next. To the working-class Americans who back MAGA, why do you support a system that crushes you? You've been told that immigrants are stealing your jobs, that minorities are to blame for your hardships, and that government programs designed to help struggling families are socialist handouts. Meanwhile, billionaires who fund the very movement you support continue to hoard wealth, cut wages, and destroy unions. Henry Ford and American industrialists once funded fascist movements abroad. Today's billionaires do the same through dark money PACs that manipulate you into voting against your own survival. Ask yourself, has your life improved under this ideology? Have your wages risen? Has healthcare become more affordable? Or are you still struggling while being told your suffering is someone else's fault? To the corporations that fund the GOP's lies, you saw an opportunity: lower taxes, deregulation, and unchecked political power. You chose short-term profit over the long-term stability of the nation that made your wealth possible. But be warned, every empire built on deception collapses. You believe you can control this movement? That Trumpism is just a tool to keep your interests safe. But when the rule of law collapses and the mob turns against you, who will protect your assets? Who will protect your interests when democracy no longer functions? To the news media that enabled this disaster, how much is democracy worth? You amplified his lies, gave his conspiracies airtime, and legitimized a man who waged war on the very press that covered him. You treated every scandal, every violation of norms, as just another headline instead of the warning sirens of impending authoritarianism. Fox News, OANN, and Sinclair Broadcast Group didn't just report the news, they created an alternate reality where truth is whatever Trump says it is. Now, as he openly calls for the imprisonment of journalists and the dismantling of the free press, do you finally understand what you unleashed? Or will you continue to chase ratings while the country burns? We all know the answer. To the farmers who were promised economic revival, Trump told you he would bring back American farming. Instead, he imposed tariffs that crushed your exports. He slashed trade deals that left you dependent on government bailouts, the very handouts he pretended to oppose. He let corporations buy your land, consolidate markets, and drive independent farmers into bankruptcy. The same GOP that once claimed to defend rural America now profits off its destruction. The Dust Bowl was an environmental disaster, but Trump's economic policies created an economic dust bowl, wiping out entire farming communities while billionaires bought up the land. You were sold a lie. Will you continue to believe it, or will you finally do your research and see the truth? To the foreign leaders who embraced Trump's America, you saw a chance to manipulate a weakened nation, to push your own agendas while Trump gutted American institutions. You applauded his destabilization of NATO, his attacks on democratic allies, his praise of dictators. But here's the reality. An America without democracy is an America that cannot be trusted. What happens when the chaos he created spills over into your borders? When alliances shatter and the vacuum is filled by something even worse? To every American, left or right, the question now is simple. Will you continue to be a pawn in their game, or will you finally see the truth? Because if we don't act now, we will soon wake up in a nation where freedom is just another lie they tell us to keep us quiet. History warned you. You ignored it. The Soviet Union, North Korea, these were cautionary tales, not blueprints. And yet here we are repeating them. When Trump says he will be a dictator on day one, believe him. When he calls for the jailing of political enemies, understand that it won't stop at Democrats. When right-wing billionaires fund media networks that only promote Trump-approved narratives, recognize that this is what every successful fascist movement has done. The very people who stormed the Capitol, who worshipped their dear leader, now find themselves trapped in the world they created. Those who once cried fake news now receive only government-approved propaganda. Those who celebrated the crackdown on protesters now find their own voices silenced. Those who cheered when dissidents were jailed now live in fear of being the next target. Reminds me of Elie Wiesel's famous quote about how Germans felt during World War II. First they came for the communists, but I was not a communist, so I did not speak out. Then they came for the socialists and the trade unionists, but I was neither, so I did not speak out. Then they came for the Jews, but I was not a Jew, so I did not speak out. And when they came for me, there was no one left to speak out for me. Now just change a couple of words and substitute a few names, and we get this. First they came for the immigrants, but I was not an immigrant, so I did not speak out. Then they came for the journalists, but I was not a journalist, so I did not speak out. Then they came for the protesters, the teachers, and the scientists, but I was none of those, so I did not speak out. Then they came for the judges and the election officials, but I did not care because they told me it was all rigged anyway. Then they came for my neighbor, my coworker, my friend, but I believe they must be part of the deep state hive mind. And when they came for me, there was no one left to speak out because I had cheered while they silenced everyone else. America is at a crossroads. Will you fight for democracy, or will you allow history to repeat itself?